Today we're going to talk about the Simple Storage Service, or S3. We're sticking with our office analogy, so imagine you have a lot of documents in your cubicle that you need to store safely. You could keep them in your desk drawer, but it might get full or you might lose the key. Instead, you decide to use a massive, centralized, secure storage facility. There is one storage facility per region, so that's one in US East, one in US West, and many more. In the AWS context, S3 is a limitless, scalable, object-based managed service. You can access data from anywhere on the web anytime. Now, let's say you have different types of documents. You wouldn't want to dump all of them together, so you use different buckets to organize your documents. Each bucket has a unique name in the entire region, and you can put as many documents as you want in each bucket. Like practically unlimited, even enough for Carla and Cassandra for when they'll share all the photos from their trip to Europe. Each document in your bucket has a unique key, like the title of a file. When you need a specific document, you just type the address in your browser and S3 will fetch it for you. That is, if you're allowed access. Every bucket has a number of access policies attached to it that determine who has access to read, write, or get a list of everything's in the bucket. By who, we mean what IAM user or role. More on that in part 6. Is allowed access, or you can lock it down, depending on from where the bucket is accessed. Remember our analogy of a company's phone line for VPCs? You can create what is called a VPC endpoint, so only people calling in from the company can get access. Even if the person or user is per se allowed to look at the files, if they're not currently within the company, they'll be denied access. Now, let's look at cost. Maintaining such an immense storage facility is expensive, and Amazon wants you to be mindful with how often you will need the data. There's 4 different storage tiers for each S3 bucket that we need to know about. S3 Glacier is for data that needs to be kept around, but is needed very rarely. It is basically the sub-basement of the facility, where when you need a document, it will take AWS minutes to hours to find it. And tucked away even further is the Glacier Deep Archive, where it takes 12 hours to get to it. It's there, you just can't get to it right now, like the boxes from when you moved out of your parents' house at the very back. If you have a basement or attic, you will know what I'm talking about. Then there is S3 Infrequent Access. This data is tucked away, but still accessible quickly, in milliseconds if you need it. Amazon gives you cheaper rates to store it, but when you do need it, it costs extra. And we have the Standard Access tier, where you will pay more for the storage, but you can get to it as often and quickly as you want. But what if you can't decide what tier to use for this box full of old family albums and the toolbox Uncle Tim gave you for your housewarming party? Well, S3 can decide for you if you want, with intelligent tiering. We will look at if the data has been accessed in the past 30, 90, or 180 days, and move it to consecutively cheaper access tiers. Now, let's move to the questions. A company needs you to decide how to store their annual tax audit documents. They need to be accessible within a day if the authorities request it. A. Keep it on accountant Andy's machine. B. Use S3 Standard Access tier. C. Use S3 Intelligent tiering. D. Use S3 Glacier Deep Archive. A is not a great idea. What if Andy spills coffee over his computer? Again. S3 is a good choice, but the standard tier is expensive. Intelligent tiering is better, but we will pay a small automation fee. D is correct. Use S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Question 2. A large multinational corporation uses S3 to store the personnel files for each of their companies. Every company uses their own VPC that every employee's computer will be connected to. They need to make sure that only HR employees from the respective company can access the bucket with the personnel files. Choose 2. A. Use bucket policies. B. Use security groups. C. Use access control lists. D. Create VPC endpoints that connect each bucket to the VPC of the matching company. A is correct. Each bucket should have policies to only allow HR employees to access it. B is wrong. Security groups offer EC2 instances and some select other services. C is not a great choice. S3 does have them, but they are meant for more direct object access and not to control entire buckets. D is perfect again. The VPC endpoints will make sure that only computers for each company can access the bucket. Okay, let's sum up what we've learned today. Amazon S3 uses buckets to organize data. Each bucket has a unique name within a region and can store unlimited objects. S3 controls access to buckets and objects through IAM policies on the user side, bucket policies on the S3 bucket side, ACLs, which are best for individual objects, and VPC endpoints for ensured private connections. S3 offers storage tiers to optimize costs based on data access frequency, including S3 Standard, Intelligent Tiering, Infrequent Access, Glacier, and Glacier Deep Archive. S3 storage tiers and intelligent tiering help optimize costs by storing data in the most cost-effective tier based on access frequency. S3 does not have security groups.